Hello guys and welcome back to my channel Firewall again. In this video we're going to talk about some stuff from Palo Alto Firewall and something from Checkpoint Firewall. So as you can see on my screen, this is a lab topology which we're going to set up, and based on the lab topology we're going to implement these firewalls. You can see here Palo Alto Firewall, Checkpoint Firewalls. Let me take you through these firewalls. Let's jump to the Checkpoint Firewall, and as you can see here, we have US SMS having IP address, US gateway having this IP address. When I go to the policy, I think I don't have much thing here. Yeah, simple rules which allowing the basic communication between my admin network and to the admin network itself, so that basic communications like SIG and all those things get established. And I have this management LAN where I have this IP address 192.168.50.0 is getting allowed to any traffic. Okay, simple setup. Then I go to the gateway. If I jump to the gateway, I can see my topology is configured, and if in general I can see the firewall blade only activated, trust is established. If I see the trust communication, it looks good. Okay, so this is basic from the Checkpoint Firewall. Let's move to the Palo Alto Firewall, and this is the Palo Alto Firewall version. If I go to the network, let's see what setup I have. Interfaces, I don't see any interface configure here. Zone, okay, I think zone is also not configured. So only thing which is got configured is I think basic setup, where I have this management interface configured with this IP address and high availability over topology. You can see this two Palo Alto firewalls in HA. We'll talk more on that as well. Okay, number one thing, now I want to go ahead and just set up these interfaces. Let's go to the network and see what interfaces we have configured so far. So we don't have anything here. ETH1-1, let me just go ahead and check what IP address we need to give to that particular interface. Give me a moment. Go to the lab and ETH1. I have to give something which is relevant to this guy as well. So let's consider here. We'll give something like I would say let's do this. Let's have that as the exit interface. So let's go ahead with this IP address 2.2.2.2 from this side. Better we'll have one. Let's do this. So let's have one this side, and I'll just duplicate this. So here we will be having two. the tool is now here. Let's go ahead and do that. So how we can do that? I'll go to this interface. I'll give it is as a outside towards external router. This is what the comment I have to give. This interface is L3 interface, so I have given a L3. Network profile I don't have as of now, so I'm not configuring it. Virtual router also we don't have anything. For now I'll just give the default. And this guy is lands in outside, so I have to create a zone which say outside. Okay, so I would say outside, a simple language, log setting, it's okay, we'll give it later, and we'll just add that interface here. So I don't have that here. For now, let's just get deleted. It will come automatically. Zone profile, ACL, user identification, all those things, let it be like this. So if I say outside here, this interface will automatically come to here. I'll show you that. IP address, as we decided, we'll go ahead with the IPv4, and the IP I would like to give 2.2.2.1. Okay. If you see this, it means something missing. I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and just give this /32. Okay. I think without giving that also it will work. Let's have it like this only. Rest I would like to say go to here advanced, and here set up a management profile, so I don't have that as well. So we'll give like a name as a ping, so I just want a ping and HTTPS kind of thing, so we'll allow that only. All right, SSH is also fine, but it's outside interface, so that is fine. So let's go ahead with this, and I say okay. So as you can see, zone outside appears. So let's go ahead, and as I said, it automatically that interface. Okay, so from here we are good. So basic thing, this guy is configured with this IP address, but to have that in a place, you need to commit. Okay, so for now I'm just committing that changes. If you want to preview the changes, you just have to click the preview changes, and it will give you what changes you have done. So everything which is here in this green, it's like the changes what we have done. Okay, all right, so it looks good to me, so I have to close this. Now I like to say validate commit. So it will validate if the configuration and everything is good. These are the few steps basically you have to consider to before configuring anything. uh, I would like to say these steps you need to consider before pushing the configuration to the device, so that on runtime you won't be able to face any issue. If any issues comes, this validation gives you details, right? Completed successfully, configuration looks valid. Now you have surety, right? So here give the description for what purpose you have committing this. So added external, or I would say outside interface. Okay, so So I would say OK and commit. So as this process is started to commit, we'll do one thing. We'll go back to the lab. Let's jump back to this guy, your router. And here I also need to configure the IP address. So configure, before that I would like to show you what we have here. So command is show interface IP brief. Okay, this is for the ASA. The command for the router, I think, show IP interface brief. And you can see only one interface is configured, this guy 01 with this IP address. Now we need to configure this guy, right? So simply just copy this interface and go to the configuration mode of the router, say interface, and if you right click it will give you that interface and enter. To have the IP address, the command is IP address, then you need to give the IP address which is all 2.2.2.2.2. Give it a subnet mask. So let's go ahead with the subnet mask and say enter. So the IP configure, and to activate this interface, just say no shut. That means no shutdown. So it is active. As soon as I say no shutdown, you will see the line protocol and interface is up. And if you run this command like here, you will do show IP interface brief, we will see this guy is active, right? But I can see it's administratively down. Okay. So this guy we configure. So this guy is up. All looks good. And ETH1, this guy somehow I can see administratively down. So we'll look into that as well. So for that, just like interface, which interface was that? Which administratively down? 01. I think the no shut will work here to make that interface up. So let's see if that works. Okay, let's check. And now it looks up. Okay, so what we have done, as you can see, the communication commit completed successfully here. So the basic communication between these two guys need to be there. So if I go back to the iOS router and I say do ping IP address 2.2.2.1, what it say? So I can see the communication is not going through, maybe because of the policy or something else. We need to check that from the panorama itself. If I do the same, let's see what happens. Let me just log into the panorama, my password. Oh, sorry, I'm logging to the Palo Alto Firewall, not a panorama. So just go ping host. What was the IP address? All 2.2.2.2. Let's see. So the either side communication is not done. So it's saying destination is unreachable. Okay, let's see why so. So this interface and this interface is directly connected. However, we are saying destination is unreachable. All right. For that, we can come here. We'll see what policy we have. Everything looks like intrazone is allowed, interzone is dropped. That is fine. Let's go ahead and check network interface. Interface status is good. 2.2.2.1. Zone is outside, router is default. Okay, and with respect to the router, let's do one thing. Let's ping other side. Do ping. I just want to confirm if the router working well. This 1.1.1.1, 1.1.1.1. So the firewall over there also not working. Let's do this. Let's say do let's do this. Just exit or end from this and check something like show something like that. ARP. I just want to see what increase we have now. So over up I can see 111. So as I can see the 111 is there and 2221 is also there. Okay. So entries are getting learned, but we are not able to ping. Okay. So that could be the reason with respect to the communication, what we have allowed, what we have not allowed. Okay. So that could be the reason. But I can see ARP entry here. Now let's go ahead and do one change. We'll go to the virtual router and it's a default for now. Here we will add a static route. The static route would say uh, anything. I would say a default route as well. The default route. Let's give it a proper name. Default route. So anything. Okay. Coming to this firewall, reach to this next hook, which is 2.2.2.2. Okay, and I would say okay, okay, and then commit. Let's see once the commit is done, do our routing communication has happened between two routers and Palo Alto gateway. For that, what we will do, just go ahead here. Can't find interface default or the next. Okay. So what is this? Static route, default route. Okay. So interface is 1-1, which is having this IP address. So that was my mistake. I forgot to add the interface. So let's say commit. Just wait for that. Meanwhile, let me go ahead. So this is already communicating. If it worked, we can see here there's a communication happening. If it not, then we have to check something else. So after installing the policy, still I'm saying destination is unreachable. This is because you're trying from this host. Okay, so let's do this. Ping source. I don't know if this is the command. Ping source. What is the source? 2.2.2.1 towards the host 2.2.2.2. Now it's communicating. So this is the response we are getting. So it works well. So with respect to Palo, we need to take care of all these things. So one side it's communicating, the other side I think it's a policy who's causing the issue. Let's go ahead, or let's just check from the router itself if we are good for the communication to the Palo Alto device. Ping 2.2.2.1. Okay, it looks good now. Maybe it not learn the details initially, that's why it's not able to ping, but it looks good now. Okay. Similarly, if I go ahead with the other side, maybe here the policy is blocking, but I just want to check. 1.1.1, 1.1.1.1. So that side the policy is getting blocked, this communication. Okay. So what we have done so far, we have just created one communication between the interfaces. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we'll check rest of the things. Now as per the topology, the basic things got configured. Next video we'll be talking more on this lab.